Oh, misty eye of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls. And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over during sun.
Hey, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. I want to say double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone and the elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to the brothers that's out there doing the truth. This is just some more information on the RFID chip. One guy's experience with it, and the implications that he's basically using it for. He's going to mention a country called Sweden. It's a European country. They really heavy into the RFID chip technology. And I'll mention, because this is nothing more than a clip, uh, a voice recording that I happened to catch on the way out outside of the gym coming home. And it's just showing you where we're at, basically, where the world is at with the chip. And you know, Esau, they use their little devil tongue. You know, you know, he, he add a little doubt in there as far as the chip, coming right away. But he makes mention that the chip is basically imminent, is around the corner, and it's the furthest thing they can do to you know for the technology. It's like the last one of the last things they can do to make the technology great is add the digital currency to that, and he explains how he used that, did that through a hacker and so on and so forth. But I'll let you hear it out of the horse's mouth so you can understand. Just here, and Lord willing, I come in with some scriptures afterwards. But here you go.
For this experiment, this would be the absolute furthest reach of what could be possible. So I found a biohacker who was really kind of nonchalant about wanting to or allowing me to be microchipped.
Once you got this chip in you, it was not as simple as swiping your hand next to an Apple Pay kiosk thing, right?
Right. This chip is really it's more of like an experiment, a placeholder for a future that I think someday we could possibly see. And so when I got the chip, I had to get it programmed. So I started sending out feelers to different people, and finally found an engineer who at the time was at Venmo. He's since moved on to more entrepreneurial projects, but he helped me sort of take Venmo's unique code, place it onto my chip, and then we kind of set up a system at a restaurant where I could actually use it to pay.
In an extremely jury-rigged fashion, we should say. I mean, it took some doing.
Absolutely. This is not something that normal people can really go out and do yet, and probably for a long time.
Right. So there you go once again. How Esau is with his devil tongue. He said a long time. Really, it wouldn't take a long time because as he's telling you, he has the chip, and all he had to do was get it programmed, go to a certain store, and that's part of it. That's part of the phase. All right, you get the chip, and then you get it programmed, and they already have technology out here where it's gonna be payable, ready. You be able to pay for items. All right, every item has a UPC code. Now I'll get into that later on in the recording. You're gonna hear my voice after him, and I just let it keep going.
Have you gone back to cash since you got back from Sweden?
The first thing that I did when my month-long experiment ended was go to the ATM and take out just a wad of unnecessary cash, and it just felt very safe and secure to me.
And what about the chip? Is it still there?
The chip is there.
Do you keep going through security and stuff?
No, I'm a little worried about going to get an MRI. That's the only thing. But other than that, it's kind of a fun party trick, I think.
Can you feel it? Like if you like touched your thumb or wherever the thing is?
Sure, if I kind of make a fist with my hand, you can kind of see the outline of it. It looks like there's a kind of a grain of rice under my skin. Kind of freaks people out.
Yeah, I bet. Charlie Warzel, he writes on technology for BuzzFeed. Charlie, thanks very much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Coming up, it is costing us something that used to really mean something and was special about movies in general. The case against.
All right, so there you have it. Guys over there in Sweden, and that's the norm over there in Sweden. You basically got to get the RFID chip hijacked over here. What he had explained earlier, you just basically get a hacker to, hack or, set up a certain code for a certain store. But in Sweden over there, they have it as the norm. They're more advanced here over there in overseas than they are here in America. So, but the thing is that they already have the ideology behind it. It's its use in the future will be ultimately paying for items. Simply, they already have it in Sweden. It's just a pretense, all right. So it's just more on a chip, because the information is out there, and what's happening, we're seeing a lot of this thing surface. Okay, a lot more about the chip surface. So, and it's not just we just hear it once in a while. This thing is happening so often. The chip is being mentioned so often that it's becoming normal. And this guy he did it for like a month trial. Now, mind you, I'm just getting out the gym. So I'm just coming from the gym, and I just turned on the radio, turned off the music, and turned on the radio talk show, and the Spirit just had me catch that. Only so I can broadcast it to the brethren and those that's watching out here. So we're getting to the point where this is becoming the norm. All right, so like Revelations 13, man. 13 and about the 14th verse. Which I'll read that right now. All right, because I couldn't really read driving, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this, because this is part of the hour of temptation. This is part of what we're gonna face here in these very last times here in America, right before it's destroyed. Okay, these are the plague. These are the this is the temptation that's gonna take over the world. All right, it's gonna be a trying of all our faith. Okay. This is Revelations 13, and I'll start at let me see. I'll start at 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, and that's a westernized philosophy, which is nothing more but their new age philosophy, their American Spring, whatever they want to call it. All right, the New World Order, so on and so forth. All right, it's the civilization we're heading into. The police state, they call it. I forget the term that they use, but Salakia. They call it a post. Salakia. I'll get the saying, what they call what we're heading into. Salakia. Post scarcity. the water, a post-scarcity era, all right, where the dollar has people are going to lose faith in the dollar. Um, the inflation is going up, so the dollar is losing its buzz, so to speak. All right, so and that's why they got the digital currency set up for us to lead us into this new world that we're heading into. Okay, so I continue on the scripture because if you don't accept this new world theology and philosophy that they're bringing us into, they will kill you. All right, because you're going to be against everything that they believe. And verse 16, this is Revelations 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, now that the Salaki, the Greek word for mark, all right, is charagma, all right, which is imprinted mark, all right. And when you go to the root word, it's karax, all right, a pail or a stake. All right, now when you get the RFID chip, they have what we call a syringe, all right, and that represents that pail or that stake, all right, and it has that rice-sized RFID chip that they're going to implant into these American citizens, and just citizens of the world now, because that's what it is, all right. Um, and the root word for karax is karaso, or I might be saying it wrong, karas or karaso, which means a sharpened point, which furthermore goes into the point that it's a syringe. Uh, and even when you go deep into that, into the root word of that, it's I think it's grofo, which means to record or record. All right, so just like a billing statement, all right, so on and so forth, all right, but you get the idea. Okay, so when you go deep into that word, it all leads back to the radio frequency identification card, which they will use as a means of a digital, using it for a digital currency. All right, that's the pretense, within that whole RFID breakdown. All right, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 threescore and six. All right, and that it goes back to your universal product code, which everything on the earth has a barcode, in which this is how we buy our products, through this barcode. All right. So I continue the voice memo. So here you go. I can't read it now because I'm driving, but it says you won't be able to buy or sell. Now in Sweden, they already have this technology, like I said before, and it's a pretense to in the norm over there, but it's a pretense to what's going to happen over here. So the Akim, make sure brothers pay attention, because this is becoming the norm. This is becoming what the society is leading into. Okay, Sweden, they're just another rich European country. Mainly Edomite country, but they're far more advanced than America is, because we heard about the corporation over there in Sweden, I believe it was, where you have to use RFID chip that's implanted in your hand to actually enter into work. Now, I've seen this same technology being used in apartment buildings, in hospitals, and and other sort of corporations who bring in that type of security. Now, that that's a big thing to look out for because of the implications that they the potential of them using it for money transfer. We already know that the money is digital. All right, we have the digital currency, which is your Visa, your MasterCard, and all these credit cards and debit cards. They now are backed by a the debit cards. They're coded to the stores. They're coded to the universal product code. And all these credit cards and debit cards have what we call RFID chips now. That's becoming a norm. So the transition from the credit card, because it's going to be obsolete. The credit card is going to be obsolete, and then it's going to basically bring in the use of the chip. The reason why the credit card and the debit cards will be obsolete, even though they have the chip in it, is credit card fraud or debit card fraud, because it happened to me more than one occasion. I even switched my debit card and got a new debit card, and the same person will still take it from my account. Now they got the new thing where they can actually steal your credit card information when you go to pay for gas at the pump.
Eyewitness News at 10 starts now.
Well, with gas prices nearing the $4 a gallon mark, it's painful going to the pump, but imagine one fill-up leading to a theft of thousands of dollars.
That's the case for at least one San Antonio man. Phil Anaya joins us live with our top story. Phil?
Well, that's right, Sarah. One local man says he had his identity stolen while filling up for gas. An old trick some officials say could be on the rise.
That was really irritating. I was surprised that it even happened to me. I've heard that it's happened to some people, but you never actually expect it to happen to yourself until it finally does.
Chris Rodriguez is just the latest San Antonian to fall victim to identity theft. He realized it Sunday after bank statements showed there were numerous transactions he didn't recognize.
They were pulling out over $200 every transaction. I think there was one that was like over $300 transaction at one time. And it was a total of 18 transactions.
Thousands of dollars later, Rodriguez's bank confirmed the fraudulent charges and told Rodriguez the suspects likely copied his credit card information when filling up at a local gas station.
It's not actually uncommon. We've seen a lot of these reports that happen at gas stations.
Christy Pena of the Better Business Bureau says card skimming is an old trick that still works. In fact, the agency says when it comes to the Alamo City, identity theft is on the rise.
It's actually happened probably in the last 6 months. We've seen a little bit of an increase, and that's concerning to us.
That's why the BBB says next time you fill up at the pump, be a little more vigilant.
If you go to a gas station or go anywhere where you have to swipe your card, make sure that the machine itself hasn't been tampered with.
Granted, I learned my lesson, so now I'm going to try and make sure that everything's taken care of from now on. So I'm going to go file a police report and see what happens from there.
And even if you can't prevent identity theft, the BBB says it's critical that you check your bank statements often. That way you can notice and catch and report that fraud as soon as possible. Reporting live, Phil Anaya, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
That's pretty huge. So like I mentioned, it's obsolete. All right. So, but the greater implication for the chip, for the implantable chip, is so nobody can basically steal your information, and that is going to be the height. All right, and that is going to be the preeminent stance that the new world is taking on. So, there you have it, man. It's here already. It ain't by coincidence. It ain't by by any standpoint that it's just, this guy is just, coming out of nowhere, and he's on a radio talk show host, and, he's trying out the RFID chip for a month, so, but there we have it. This is the sign of, this is being the end time, and this place is basically on its way out of here, man. Because all you're hearing more and more is more about the chip, more about the implications of the chip. So, with that I'll close out. Lord willing, brothers, edified, and just first and foremost want to say, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. All right, now before I let you brothers hear the closing, Salakia, I'll just, because I got a few more scriptures, and I'll just close out from there. But this is Luke. This is Luke chapter 12, verses 54. It says, and he said also to the people, when ye see a cloud, oh, you know what, Salakia, I'll go Second Ezra's chapter 9, verses 1. This is Second Ezra chapter 9, verses 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right, so this is nothing new on our part. It's just taking effect. Okay, the chip is in how can I say, it's in full effect. Okay, but like I said, this is nothing new, man. It goes with the territory of like the scripture said, man. Redeeming the time, man. Understanding what the time is, and the scripture said we're gonna stand upon thy watch, man. All right, so this is Luke chapter 12, verses 54. And he said also to the people, when ye see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway ye say, there cometh a shower. And so it is. And when ye see a south wind blow, ye say, there will be heat. And it cometh to pass. Ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that ye do not discern this time? All right? Right, this time that we're living in, okay? Even Yahushua said it to the fools that were, scoffing against him and coming against him. He's saying it, he's saying it right now. We're saying it right now, all right? Because you got those that don't believe in the chip, the RFID technology and its capabilities, and then you got those that write it off, which are the same people. But, like the scriptures say, man, ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that ye do not discern this time? All right, in Revelation 13, it tells you, man, you will not be able to buy or sell. And he's going to put, whether you be rich, poor, free or bond, you're going to get forced to get that chip, okay? So these are the times that we're living in, all right? One more scripture is the Second Ezra chapter 7, verses 16. All right, it says, it says, why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Because a lot of, and the reason why I came out with that, because a lot of people get complacent of what they see in front of them, their everyday lives, their comfortability, their jobs, their families, their friends, so on and so forth. The riches and the wealthiness and all of these things. They only care about the present time, but they don't consider the latter end. All right, so with that, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say, Call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to the brothers that's out there doing this truth and sincerity. All right, and I pray you brothers keep watching just as well as I keep praying that I keep watching, and Lord, that I be of the elect. So shalom.